Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an exciting one, especially if you're on the deeper spectrum of skin tone. I've got a bunch of base products from ITEX Dazzler. In today's video, I'll be testing out 4 different base products from them. I've got their liquid foundation, their stick foundation, their loose setting powder as well as their compact powder. I've got all of these 4 products in different shades for deeper complexions. I'm so sorry that I sound a little bit nasal today. I have a bad cold because of the weather. If you're in Chennai, you'll know how the weather is. It's pouring like crazy and doesn't want to stop. Anyway, talking about today's video, I saw a bunch of YouTubers reviewing and testing out this particular foundation from Dazzler. This is their moisturizing liquid makeup. I knew that this is a very affordable brand, so I really wanted to test it out. I have used some of their products in the past during my college days. I went to Amazon to place an order for this foundation, and that is when I found out that they have a ton of different shades for deeper Indian complexion, and I was really thrilled and excited to see that. That's when I decided to place an order for a bunch of deeper shades of their base products. While I was making my purchase for the liquid foundation, I also stumbled upon their other base products such as the stick foundation, their compact powder as well as their loose powder, and all of these products seem to be having a lot of options for dusky complexion. So I decided that I would pick different shades in each of these products and test it out on YouTube for you all. Big kudos to ITEX Dazzler for bringing out some amazing shade options for dusky complexions. This is exactly what we need right now. Now, without wasting any more time, let's swatch all of these products and test out how each of them perform on the skin. Before swatching the foundations and the powders, I'm gonna start off with a clean face. I've used the Dermavive Hydra Cleanser to get all the dirt and impurity away from the skin, and it is very gentle and mild on the skin as well. It is also very much suitable for sensitive skin types. I'm also going to moisturize my skin using the Neutriderm Vitamin E Moisturizing Lotion, which I absolutely love underneath any makeup, and this is going to help the swatches to go on smoother on the skin. So I'm just going to apply and blend this product all over the face and neck. This is a very good pre-makeup base. Your makeup on top of this moisturizer sits so beautifully. The first product that I'm going to swatch is their moisturizing liquid makeup. This is how the packaging looks like. It comes in this glass bottle with a plastic cap on the top. It doesn't have any pump whatsoever, and the price of this foundation is Rs.120 per bottle. It also says it has sunscreen, although there is no mention of how much of SPF is used in this liquid foundation. So at the back of the bottle, it is said that for a refreshing, well-blended look, and also on the Amazon website it is mentioned that these products are vegan and cruelty-free. And I totally forgot to mention, this bottle contains 27 ml of product. So I've got 5 different shades in the liquid foundation. The starting shade that I have is called DUSKY R1. And they have described this as wheatish to deep skin tone. I'm gonna give the foundation a quick shake before I begin with the swatches. So this is the shade DUSKY R1. The shade DUSKY R1 definitely has a lot of warmth and peachy undertones to it. Next, I've got the shade DUSKY R2, and this is described as deep brown skin tone. The shade DUSKY R2 has definitely a lot more red undertones in it. Next, I've got the shade Coffee, and this is described as dusky skin tone. The shade Coffee has a definite orange undertone in it. The next shade that I have is called Cocoa, and it is described as wheatish brown skin tone. The shade Cocoa has a very deep peachy undertone to it. The final shade that I have is called Contour, and it is labeled as for all skin tones. So I'm guessing this is a contouring shade, but it looks like a really rich chocolatey shade of foundation. The shade Contour is like a very rich, deep brown chocolatey shade. It seems to be having a lot of warmth to it, and it can be a very good contouring shade for most skin tones. But if you have a very rich chocolatey skin tone, you can of course use it as a foundation as well. So these are the shades that I have from their moisturizing liquid makeup. So from the swatches I can tell that all of these foundations have a lot of orangey and red undertones to them. Probably they could have made it a little bit more golden or olive tone rather than making them look so warm and red. There are people who have lesser, warmer skin tones as well. So it could have been nice if they had some shades in between for olive and neutral skin tones. Next, I have their stick foundations in 4 different shades. This is how their stick foundation looks like. It also comes with this cardboard outer packaging. The liquid foundation doesn't. The entire packaging is made up of plastic and it has a see-through or clear cap. And you have the stick foundation right here, and it's got this twist up mechanism going, so you can sort of twist it up to get the foundation out from the tube, and also it goes back into the container without much problem. The stick foundation contains 9 grams of product and it retails for Rs.200, which is a little bit more expensive than the liquid foundation. The first shade that I have is called Soft Caramel and the number is Fs1. It is also labeled as marble, so I don't know why they did that, but this is a much lighter shade of foundation. I particularly wanted a lighter shade of the stick foundation to test out if it works as a concealer or not. This is the shade Soft Caramel and it definitely has a lot more pink or neutral undertones to it. The next shade that I have is called DUSKY Fs1, which seems like a good match. Let's see how it swatches. The shade DUSKY Fs1 looks like a very close match to my complexion. It again has a warm peachy undertone to it. The shade DUSKY Fs2 is labeled as deep brown skin tone. This is more of a brown shade again with a lot of red undertones to it. The shade Contour Fs is labeled as for all skin tone, and it is definitely a deep, rich, chocolatey brown shade. This can work as a contouring shade for multiple skin tones, and if you have a very deep, rich, chocolatey skin tone, you can of course use it as a base as well. The contouring shade in the liquid foundation as well as on the stick foundation look very similar in tone. Next, I have 4 different shades in their loose powder. This is called their face powder. Again, this has got sunscreen in it, but there is no mention of how much SPF is present in it whatsoever. So this tub contains 30 grams of product and it retails for 120 rupees. Again, the packaging is a plastic one. It has a huge lid and the container inside. It also has this sponge applicator and you have the powder right here. It has got a little bit of a sift pattern right on the center to dispense the powder out from the container. The packaging reminds me a lot of the Lakme Rose Powder packaging. It is very similar to that. The first shade that I have is called DUSKY R1 and it is labeled as Peatish to Deep Skin Tone. The shade DUSKY R1 is a light brown golden peachy shade. The shade DUSKY R2 is a deeper shade of brown with a lot of cool red undertones to it. I have the shade Coffee, which is labeled as Dusky Skin Tone, and I quite like the shade. It definitely is a dusky brown shade with a lot of golden undertone to it. The final shade that I have is called Cocoa and it is labeled as wheatish brown skin tone. I would call this as a light peachy brown with a cool red undertone to it. The final product that I have is their Classic Compact Powder. It comes in this cardboard outer packaging. and you have the compact inside, which is again made up of plastic. The compact powder contains 9 gram of product and it retails for rupees 80 only. When you open the compact powder, you have a mirror inside and a sponge applicator to apply the product. Standard compact powder packaging. Not gonna lie, it definitely feels a little bit flimsy, not that sturdy of a packaging, but I can't really complain. It is only for rupees 80. The first shade that I have is called 8010 Dusky and it is labeled as whitish to deep skin tone. It's a true brown dusky shade with a little bit of peachy undertone to it. Although the powder looks much lighter in the pan, it comes off very deep on the skin. The next shade I have is again called Dusky. I don't know why, but the number is 8011 and it is labeled as deep skin tone. This is definitely a deeper shade of brown. It's not a dusky shade, it is much richer than that. The shade contour is labeled as for all skin tones. As you can see from the swatch, it is an extremely rich, deep chocolatey color. This can be an excellent contouring / bronzing powder for many dusky complexions. Or if you have an extremely rich chocolatey skin tone, you can use it as a compact as well. So you guys, these are all the swatches of the liquid foundation, the cream foundation, the loose powder as well as the compact powder. I hope it kind of gave you an idea of how each of these shades look like. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of a demo. So you guys, I did a little bit of an eyeshadow work on my eyelids and I have primed my skin using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Primer. I mean, I always tend to use a primer underneath my makeup, so that is why I used a primer. I'm gonna apply the liquid foundation all over the face. I'm gonna try out the shade Dusky R1 first. It seemed like a close match. I also have the shade Coffee handy just in case I have to deepen up the shade a little bit further. The consistency of this foundation is a runny liquid foundation, but it's a little bit more thicker. It kind of has this whipped runny liquidy formula. I hope I'm able to make sense here. It feels a little bit of an airy formula, that's what I mean. So on one side I'm applying the foundation with a beauty blender and on the other side I'm going to apply the foundation using a buffing brush. I'm using my e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. So this is how one layer of the foundation looks like and this side is without any foundation. It has kind of given a veil of coverage. It is very light regarding the coverage. The shade seems okayish. It's not an exact match, but it is a very close match. Now on this side of my face, I'm going to use a buffing brush. This one is from PAC. So this is how one layer of the foundation looks like with a brush. Honestly, there is not much of a difference. Both gave a very similar effect. Probably the brush side gave slightly a bit of a higher coverage, but they look and feel exactly the same. And I'm not sure if you can tell or not, I can see every single brush stroke on my face. The foundation doesn't really blend with your skin, but it kind of sits on top of your skin. I'm gonna try to build up the coverage on both the sides since I like a fuller looking coverage on my base. So I tried to build up the coverage on this side using a sponge. Again, it's not much of a coverage on the base. It's kind of gone patchy as I tried to blend the layer on top. You can see the foundation has lifted off from the corner of my mouth as well as this area right here and underneath my eyes. It has not blended well. Can you see how this foundation looks? There is something seriously wrong with the formula. The brush is kind of lifting off the foundation and I can see every single brush mark on my skin. which I absolutely do not like. I had high hopes for this foundation, especially near the mouth area. You can see that it is lifted very weirdly, and mind you, I'm using as little pressure as possible, and still the foundation is sort of going all patchy and looks and feels very wrong. Look at this, the foundation is completely lifted from the corner of my nose. That's how the foundation situation is looking like. I'm not very happy about it at all. It's looking all patchy and weird all over my face. I can see little patches of my skin peeking through from the foundation. I'm going to take the stick foundation, and this is in the shade DUSKY Fs1, and I'm going to try to conceal my under eyes. This is not that light shade of a foundation for my liking, so I'm going to use a little bit of the shade Soft Caramel to lighten it up. I'm going to take my concealer blending brush, this is from PAC, and try to blend it out. And let's hope this blends better than the liquid foundation. Okay, I think I like the stick foundation much better than the liquid foundation. It's not looking that patchy at all. It's blending evenly and nicely on the skin, which is a good sign. So that's how the stick foundation looks like. I definitely think the stick foundation is much better than the liquid foundation now itself. So the liquid foundation on the rest of the face has kind of dried, and it has given this powdery matte finish. So I'm going to try to save up my base a little bit using the stick foundation. Again, I'm going to take the shade DUSKY Fs1 in the stick foundation. Nothing seems to be layering well on top of the liquid foundation because it dries down to a powdery matte finish. Can you see how I can't even tell you how bad my base looks? I'm going to try to contour my face using the stick foundation in the shade Contour. So I'm just trying to blend the contour. This has completely lifted off the foundation underneath. Can you see how few bits and pieces of the liquid foundation is kind of flaking off from the mouth area? Again, the foundation has lifted away from the places that I placed the contour on. Can you see? My natural skin is peeking through from underneath. This is not the contour. This is my natural skin color peeking from underneath. Anyway, let's move on. Let's keep it going and see how other powder products work. So I'm going to set my face using the loose powder. I've got the shade Coffee. I quite like the shade Coffee. It's got a nice golden undertone to it, and it seems to be a very nice dusky color. So I'm just picking that on my sponge, and I'm going to bake the under eyes. The powder definitely feels a lot more smoother and softer on the skin. I'm going to let it sit there for about 2 minutes and just dust it all off. The loose powder is really nice. I would say it's very even on the skin. It's not patchy at all. It's very smooth. The color Coffee is also a great match for my skin tone. It has kind of made my base look a little bit better right here wherever I baked. So I'm really liking the finish of the loose powder. Now I'm going to set the rest of the face using the Classique Compact Powder in the shade 8010 Dusky. This powder also felt very smooth and even on the skin when I tried to swatch it. So let's see if it performs the same on the face as well. So I'm taking a good amount on the powder brush and just try to set my base. The compact powder has a very light coverage, as well as the loose powder. They both have very light and sheer coverage, but they are much more even on the skin when compared to the liquid foundation. You can sort of build it up to a light medium coverage. That's the max coverage you can get from the loose powder as well as the compact powder. I am gonna powder contour my face using the compact powder from them, and this is in the shade Contour. So I'm gonna take that on an angled brush and try to contour my face. I must admit, the Contour compact powder is a beautiful, smooth, even compact powder. Just a little bit goes a long way because it is a very deep shade of a contour and it's very cool toned. It doesn't have any warmth to it whatsoever, so use as little as possible if you have a very similar complexion like me. But overall, I think the powder products are really great. They are very smooth, even, and they apply beautifully on the skin. My base is looking slightly better just because of the loose powder as well as the compact powder. Now let me just quickly finish off the rest of the makeup and come back. So you guys, I'm back with a full face of makeup. My eye makeup is looking great. My lips are looking amazing, but can we talk about the base? I cannot even. The two products that made my base look much better are both these products, the loose powder as well as the compact powder for sure. So I would absolutely highly recommend the loose powder and the compact powder for sure. Both of these products are very affordable and good in quality. The compact powder, you can build it up a little bit to get a little bit of an intensity from it. Now talking about the moisturizing liquid makeup, I absolutely hate this product. I'm very sorry to say this, but I do not like this foundation at all. I had good hopes for this particular foundation. It looked very promising and nice and very affordable. They have a ton of shades, but it is extremely disappointing. They have multiple shades, but I don't think this will work on any complexion or any skin type for that matter, because I do have an extremely oily skin type and this foundation dries up into a completely matte powdery finish. You can't really layer products on top, and being a foundation, I think you need to have that a little bit of play time with it. Otherwise, how are you supposed to apply concealer, powder, cream contour on top of it if your foundation sets completely? Foundation shouldn't be like that, and they definitely need to check on their formula because it's really bad. It doesn't blend properly on the skin. I can see every single beauty blender mark and brush mark on my skin as I try to blend it up. It just sits on top of your skin. It doesn't really blend along with the layers of your skin. I like foundations that kind of blend along with my skin. This doesn't do that. It just sits on top and doesn't look very nice on the skin. If you were thinking about buying this foundation, please save your money. Do not buy this at all. I wouldn't recommend this foundation to anybody. It's really sad. I really wanted to like this foundation a lot, but coming to the stick foundation, I really couldn't understand this particular foundation properly because of the liquid foundation situation. The liquid foundation kind of sets to a completely matte, unmovable foundation finish. This seemed much more better than the liquid foundation because it does have a little bit of an emollient in it, so it's not that patchy on the skin. It's a little bit more hydrating. So I definitely wanna test this out separately without the liquid foundation. If I do so, I will definitely put my thoughts in the description box. But again, this foundation has very light coverage. You can kind of build it up to a light medium coverage, but not more than that. The stick foundation is for sure much better than their liquid makeup. I will try to wear this foundation for a few more hours and see how this puts up on my skin, whether it lasts well or not. So those were all of my thoughts about the DAZLLER liquid foundation, their stick foundation, their loose powder as well as their compact powder. I was very much excited to try their products because they did have some amazing shade options for dusky or deeper Indian complexions. I would definitely give brownie points to DAZLLER for bringing out some amazing shade options. That I have to give it to them. You cannot really find such kind of deeper shades in mid-range brands as well, so that is an amazing initiative from them. Kind of feel the market is slowly changing and they are trying to bring out more deeper and darker shades, which I truly appreciate. This is it. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, comment, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Make sure to hit the bell icon to get notified each time I upload a new video on my channel. Also follow me on my Instagram. I'll put the link in the description box. Take care of yourselves, and I shall see you guys soon in my next one. Bye!